Hey there, friends. My name's Matthew. I'm the C# artisan. And if you are a regular viewer of my channel, you'll notice that, well, things look a little bit different. I'm not in my office. I'm not surrounded by my toys and my plants. And most importantly, I'm not alone. I'm here in the studios of CG Infinity, which is my employer. And I'm here with Rahul Arora, who is one of our senior engineers and who heads up our Azure practice. And Rahul is here today to teach us about GitHub Copilot.
Yay.
Now, I want to admit, I have never used GitHub Copilot. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned, or maybe I'm just old. But whatever it is, I'm resistant. I think I've been doing this for a long time. I know how to type. I'm a good coder. I don't need an AI chatbot to write my code for me. So I'm resistant. But I'm willing to admit that this is maybe not the most helpful or productive attitude to have. So I've invited Rahul here to help me out, to get me over the hump, to show me some of the things that are possible with GitHub Copilot. And maybe you feel the same way. Maybe you've got a little resistance as well. So we'll go on this journey together and see what it's all about. And for a little comfort, I brought one of my toys with me. I did bring Marceline. So she's going to kind of sit here and help me out as well. So join me as we explore GitHub Copilot. Okay, Rahul, what you got for me?
Well, how about we look at the Copilot today, Matthew, and maybe build something exciting with it.
Okay.
Cool. So today we are going to be building a web API with the help of Copilot. And I would try to probably delegate all of the code writing stuff to Copilot and would rather just give it instructions in form of prompts. Do you want to see how that works?
Let's do it.
Cool. But before we deep dive into that, we'll need to make sure that we have the Copilot account and it is connected to our Visual Studio.
Okay.
So you would need to go and create an account on GitHub. And currently, Microsoft is offering a free subscription for GitHub Copilot for testing purposes. So you could just enable the free version and sign into your Visual Studio. Once you sign into your Visual Studio using Copilot, you would see this little icon here on top right. If you see it here, it means it's connected.
Perfect.
All right. So let's call Copilot and start creating the web API. We'll just go to View and say GitHub Copilot Chat. GitHub Copilot Chat is one of the multiple ways of talking to Copilot.
Okay.
This gets plugged into top right side of your screen, right where your Solution Explorer is. And I would just clear all my chat history so that we start from the scratch. Okay, so I'm going to be asking Copilot to create a repository for me on the product class. As you would see, I have a product class already. I do not have any repositories and services, or we got a bunch of attributes. So we'll ask Copilot if it can generate a repository.
Okay.
All right. So let me give a prompt to the Copilot, asking it to create a product for CRUD operations. And I'm asking it to also give me 10 sample products in the category of electronics, wearables, accessories, and it's going to be putting it under a specific namespace.
Okay.
So let's see if Copilot can do that for me. There we go.
Wow.
So we gave it an instruction and it is able to...
Wait, what did you click there? That was fast. Okay, you clicked the insert new file.
Right.
I see. And that took the output of the prompt, and it copied it over into, okay, I see what happened there. That was a little fast. Got it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we got the output from Copilot, copied it over to our main IDE window, and we are going to be saving it now.
Oh, yeah.
So it created a repository for us, and there we go. So let's take a look at this code here. We got a product repository. It created some sample products for us, and then there are a bunch of methods, get all, get by ID, update, and add a new product, as well as delete one if you would need to.
Wow.
So since I gave it an instruction to do CRUD operations, so it was able to pretty much generate all the code for me.
Right on. All right, well, that seems clear enough.
Cool.
What's next?
Well, we are one step away from creating a service. So let's now create a service on top of the repository and see if GitHub Copilot can wrap this repository around a service. We're going to be asking it to create a product interface and a service, and
for the selected class. Okay, so I saw it wrote a bunch of code there.
Yes, let's look at the prompt real quick, kind of what we asked and what it did. So we asked it to create a product interface and a service for our product repository, and we asked it to put it under the services namespace. And as a result, you see that it generated a product service interface as well as the implementation for the interface right here.
Okay.
Cool. I'm going to be
You'll do the same insert new file, bring it over, and you've already set up your folder structure, so you're just going to drop it right into services. Nice.
And I'll do the same for the interface.
All right, so iProduct service, get all. Oh, I see. So it's just provided a nice service wrapper around that. Yep.
Cool. So we got a product model,
Yep.
a product repository, and a service. Let's get to writing some cool endpoints here and expose it via HTTP.
Right. So you've got the basic web API project here. I see that weather forecast controller, which we've all familiar with. So you're going to now add your own, I'm assuming, a product controller? Or
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. But a slight correction here. Instead of me adding it, I would rather let Copilot edit for me. So
Fair point.
I'm a fan of Copilot, as you know.
Fair enough.
Cool. So I'm going to be writing a prompt.
Okay.
So we are now asking it to create a product controller as an API controller for us using the product repository. All right. So we'll just insert it in a new file, and we got the product controller. Now you see how intelligent it is. We asked it to create it based on a repository, but it was able to figure out that there is a service on top of a repository. So instead of taking repository as one of the dependency parameters, it was able to use the service.
It's using iProduct service.
So when you are giving prompts to the Copilot, it is at the same time analyzing and scanning your code and figuring out what is the best way to solve for that prompt.
Right on. Let's scan this unit a little. Let me just take a look.
So
Yep.
we got a product controller,
Right.
and
It takes the product an iProduct service and the
Service.
constructor.
and we got bunch of HTTP GET, HTTP POST methods out here.
But
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
amazing.
Cool.
Now-
Let's save this.
Now, I'm probably getting ahead of you, but don't we also need to like deal with the dependency injection now to register this dependency with our web service?
Well, you know what? The same thing Copilot asked me. Do you want to see the screen? It says, okay, how can I help you configure the routing? It can also ask you questions sometimes like, do you want to really generate dependencies for this? Because it knows that you would need to do that.
All right.
So at times it would give you those prompts to do various things. So seems like Copilot and you are already thinking alike, Matthew.
Uh-oh. I don't know if that's good or bad
But
for either of us.
let's let's ask Copilot to generate dependency.
Okay. Oh yeah, so as you can tell, Rahul has some prompts over there on the other screen to save us a little typing, which was good. He came prepared.
All right. So Copilot kind of regenerated this startup class for us and added a line for
Yep.
dependencies for the product service. So I'm going to be, instead of maybe, copying the entire code, I could always pick and choose what I want from the output. So in this case, I'm not going to be replacing my entire startup.cs, but would rather pick this one line for adding the dependencies.
Okay.
And we'll take it to our program.cs and put it right here.
Nice.
By the way, we are still missing a dependency for repository.
Right.
And in order to do that, let's take a look at the repository class. Here is our repository. So we got a repository class, but we do not have an interface for it.
Okay.
There are multiple ways we could do that. We could generate it manually. We could ask Copilot to do it for us, or we could use one of the Visual Studio tools to extract an interface out of the class. So I'll just use that tool and ask it to interface generation. All right, so we got iProduct repository, and here is my interface.
Okay.
We could ask Copilot to do a dependency registration for us, or we could follow the same pattern that we did for the service class and write a line for adding repository dependencies.
Okay. That makes sense.
Cool. So maybe we give it a try. What do you think?
Can you look back at the GitHub Copilot chat for just a moment? And I saw, did it add, was it making any other? Oh, I see. This is just the entire program.cs.
Exactly.
And you picked what you wanted surgically and pasted it over. Fair enough. So you're saying now it might build and run.
Well, let's give it a try.
Okay. The moment of truth.
Moment of truth.
Uh-oh.
Oops.
What did we miss?
So let's see. Since we manually picked,
We need
we
to do it before
needed
we
to
call
put
build.
it before we do like a build.
Yeah.
So it was not the Copilot, it was me. There you go.
Right on. So here we are. We've got our Swagger up, and then let's. Do you want to test these out?
Well, let's try that out.
All right.
I'll do a get all, give it a try, and
there they are.
there you go.
Magic. So when we were preparing for this, you mentioned something to me. You said that you were going to generate some XUnit test cases for this.
We could do that. That'll be exciting to do.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I'm a pretty big fan of automated test and unit tests. So watching GitHub Copilot write some XUnit tests might be the thing that just really convinces me.
Well, this is one of those things that everybody wants to do, but nobody has time to write test cases. So maybe we can ask Copilot to do that for us. Let's see.
Let's do it. Oh, yeah, you got a prompt.
So I got a prompt prepared for that already. And I'm going to be asking Copilot to generate test cases based on the XUnit for the product controller. And I'm asking it to put it under web API.test.
I see. You've already set up a test project.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's an empty project. Let's take a quick look.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So this is my API project. Here is my test project. And as you would see, it's empty.
Okay.
There's nothing under it currently. So we'll go to Copilot and ask it to do the stuff.
Oh, wow. It's busy.
It's working.
Okay.
Okay, let's look at the code.
Insert new file.
So we got a product controller test class. Under that, we got a bunch of test cases. And you see how neatly it kind of arranged the structure. Kind of declaration part, the act part, the assertion part. And eventually, you would see test cases for different scenarios and different methods covered in the product controller class.
Right on.
Let's save this. All right.
So did you already set up the cross-project reference between
Yes.
the tests and web API?
I already did.
Okay, and this is already already put it in the using clause, so I think,
Yeah. Maybe we could just build it and see if it complains.
okay. Interesting.
Okay. So build succeeded.
Well, I guess we better pull up Test Runner and see what it does.
All right. I see the excitement here.
Yeah.
Run the test. Moment of truth. Again.
Where's your Test Runner window? Oh, Test
Here is my
Explorer
Test
way down.
Explorer. And let's see what's going on here. There you go.
Okay. So so now I'm legitimately impressed. That's pretty awesome.
Cool. Glad you liked it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Rahul. That really was eye-opening and has given me a good sense of, my next steps, which is now to sign up for that free GitHub Copilot account and start playing around and seeing what it can do for me. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Other than just kind of helping you generate the basic code, Copilot can also help you solve complex problems, refactor the existing code. Maybe you're working on a project where design probably has a lot of scope for improvement, and you can ask Copilot to summarize the current design and give you suggestions to improve it. You can ask Copilot to kind of split one of your super long methods into smaller ones and create those ones for you. It can do that for you too. You can ask Copilot to talk to database, open a file for you, maybe talk to a bunch of Azure services. It has those capabilities. So
It sounds like what I need to do is just kind of try some things out. That's really great. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. It's really been a great introduction.
Thank you, Matthew.
Hey there, C# friends. Are you enjoying these videos and finding them helpful? I hope so. And if you are, please go ahead and like the video on YouTube. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and feel free to leave a comment. I would love to hear from you.